Hello and welcome everyone. We are here live at Adobe Creative Collabs. I'm Stephanie, I'm the XD evangelist for the UK, and I have Anita here with me.
Hey, so I'm Anita. I work in the XD strategic development team for EMEA.
And we have a special live stream today, the Back from Max Adobe XD features. So just for you, all the way from Los Angeles to London, and I have created this massive UI kit for you.
Incredible UI kit, absolutely amazing UI kit.
Thank you. So I have created this entire UI kit, which is a digital newspaper, both on mobile and desktop. So up here you can see these are all the mobile screens, and in the bottom you can see these are all the desktop screens in normal mode as well as dark mode. And up here we have the Max animation that I can describe a little bit more in detail later onwards. But first let's dive into my wireframes. So this project is also available on Behance to download from today onwards. I will show it to you after this mobile wireframe. So the scheme of that newspaper is just we have a home screen, we have XD updates with a subpage, and in this subpage we have the 8 amazing new features, and each feature has a detailed screen with them explained. Then we have my highlights from Max and Anita's highlights from Max. So all of that is available on my Behance, which is behance.net/Stephanie for XD. So my project is just up here, the first one, and you can scroll through it. It contains all the details. It will also contain this live stream embedded, and below there is a download link that you can just click on and download this entire UI kit. But let's dive into that UI kit first.
Yeah.
So as you can see over here, I have created a menu and a settings screen, and the settings screen is just one setting because we now have component states, but I will dive into that later. Let's get to the home screen first, and let's play that from here. So we have here obviously the menu, as I mentioned before, which is a normal overlay, and we have the settings screen, which is also an overlay. Down here we have the Adobe XD updates also in the list, and if for whatever reason you are not able to read that, you will be able to just hit that play button, and it's an interactive voice prototype as well, so you can listen to all the new features. If you are able to read but not that small font, you can just click on here and increase the font size on every single screen. So scale that down because I am able to read it.
You can read that. I can read that.
I can read, but some people can't, and for them I have extra designed this one so it's accessible for all, because that's a very important topic to me. So you can listen to all of these voiceovers that explain what component states, multiple interactions, coediting, document history, share mode, hover trigger, plugin manager, and CZ library integration is. Then we have a button that goes into the detailed page, but let's not dive into that just yet. Then we have my highlights with a drag interaction down here, and also a voice. If you can't listen to my voice anymore, just listen to Alexa, that's right here, with a link as well. And down here we have Anita's highlights, also with a drag interaction, and the text from Anita. But Anita, tell us, what was your highlight?
Oh my God, I have so many highlights. How incredible was Max? It was just incredible. So many incredible new features coming out across Creative Cloud. XD, too many to count, and I'm really looking forward for Steph and I to take you through these. So in terms of my highlights, I actually have 2 really big ones, so I'm going to tell you both of them. The first one was the XD pre-conference, so that was on the Sunday. We had some amazing attendees join from all over the world. It was a full day, and the kind of theme around it was no more final V9, how to go from being a lone ranger to collaborative design, so incredibly powerful, and all the real-time functionality that's come out in XD made that impossible. It was a fantastic session. So here you can see some pictures. There's some of me lurking in the background. Oh, there I am in Stephanie's incredible app, giving my hand gestures. And then the second amazing highlight for me was from one of my favorite people to work with, Helen Wallace from Deloitte Digital. She did a session around reclaiming time for creativity and innovation with building design systems in XD, and how powerful that's been for herself and her colleagues. colleagues at Deloitte Digital. So there's Helen up there, lovely and proud. And yeah, like as Steph mentioned, we even have...
Max highlights were the XD pre-conference and Deloitte Digital sessions.
So yeah.
Adobe XD.
So I don't even need to
no
talk.
More final _V9, from Lone Ranger to collaborative design powerhouse. The theme for the XD pre-conference was utilizing XD design systems to support the ever-changing workplace.
So yeah, so super, super nice and easy. So I'm just going to turn that off for now because I'm also a big talker, as is my Alexa. So yeah, so like those were my highlights. Yeah.
Yeah, and my highlight was definitely the Adobe Live at Max stream with our creative resident Patricia. And I have created, obviously, the screens in XD, but they're also visible on my phone screen right here. So again, I have here the overview page, and I can just simply tap in here and click into my highlights right on my phone.
That. What a fantastic outfit you were wearing. And today as well, of course.
Thank you. So that's Patricia. Patricia is our creative resident in Europe. She's based in Berlin, and she's a UX designer. The creative residency at the moment accepts new applications. So if you're interested out there, applications are accepted until 15th of January. If you do have any questions around that, you can ask Patricia in 3 hours live on her Instagram account. She's going to go live on her Instagram. Her handle is ux.patricia, sorry. And if you have any questions, just ask her about the application process, whatever you like to know. I also have this website here where you can just check how to apply for the creative residency. So if you just Google creative residency, that's what you will find. But going back to my phone here to describe more about the highlights of that stream, we also showed the new incredible Max features. So Patricia had a really lovely file, which was a bicycle app through Berlin, and I was sharing icons with her, and she took a coffee icon. She was sharing the file with me, and we could see that, and I will do exactly that with Anita today as well, so you will see what's going on. Yeah, and that was pretty much my highlight. So that was on Wednesday, the last day of Max. We were live for 1 hour, and it was just absolutely incredible, I would say. But yeah, let's go back to the actual file, and let's dive into the details of the incredible Adobe XD updates, because they're more important than my highlights. So here we have the overview screen. In here I can scroll through, and you can see here we have the component states, multiple interactions, co-editing, and so on. So all the states are right here, but let's go up to my first one that I'm going to explain, which is component states. And I've talked so much, so I also let my Alexa talk now for you. What are component states?
Add interactive elements to your prototypes without unnecessary work. With component states, you can design variations of a component for different scenarios, like hover or pressed. You can also use states in prototype mode.
So how does that actually look? So when I click into component states, and behind here, here is my actual screen. This one, for example, is a toggle. It's just on one single screen here as well. This is all on the same screen, as you can see in the background. So the 3 screens are just for the different text sizes, but the toggles and all interactions here are just on one single screen. I also have created a text resize, so you can increase the text size just in one single component and decrease the text size. You can also have entire forms to fill out a phone number, for example, or change an email address. You can do radio buttons and check boxes all on one screen, different icons that you can click on and they fill, or the email is sent, or a loading bar. Also a chat box where you can type in something and then send it off. Or this graph, but that's a bit nicer to show on my desktop design, which is right here. Here are component states, so when I play this and I scroll down, you can see all the component states are here as well, and here's the graph. So all of this is in one single graph. And the way this is put together is when I click into this graph, for example, you can see here in the layers panel that this is the graph, and in this graph here has a default state, which is this one where you can see all attendees. Then it has like the male adults, female adults, children, and elderly and disabled. So every single thing is a state. And when
Steph, how much of a time saver is that?
It's a massive time saver because I only have one. This originally was built into 5 different artboards because I have 5 different categories, but now I just have 5 different states. And yeah, that also leads towards the next interaction that we have. So I could also add over here a hover state. That obviously just works on a desktop version.
And that's built in, isn't it? It's baked in, which is even easier. You don't have to go and create it and then rename hover state. It's so easy.
Exactly. So when I go into hover state, so let's go out of this one. This is a bit more of a simpler one. This is just like 2 states, toggle, switched on, switched off. That's it. But let's dive into hover states. And hover states are right here. And what I build over here, when I scroll down, I can just hover above all of them and it tells me to share. Here, for example, I have a pink overlay, a bit transparent. Here I have like a linear gradient. Here I have like the shopping cart, and when I hover above it, then it shows me what is in my shopping cart. Or here, when I have a link, I hover above it and it says opens another website in a separate tab, just as an example. I also have on our highlights page, as Anita showed earlier already, when we play that, and we have also these hover states that just say full screen, and when I actually click on it, it goes into full screen, and that again is a component state. So it's both hover state and component state. So when I go into that, you can see this is the hover state right there. So this is the hover state, just that blurry background on top, and this is the expanded version that just expands the whole image across this desktop design and have this on top. And when I go back to hover state, this is how it looks, and in default state. And all you have to do is in prototype mode just to basically go into this hover state and actually animate it. So you can see here's this tap trigger already. So it's just a transition that goes back into that state. So default state as well, and you can already see a number 2 here, and that already leads to the next part that you're going to introduce, right? Why do we have a number 2 here?
So sassy. So multiple interactions. Oh my God, speaking of time saver, this is another huge time saver. So before, if I wanted to have a prototyping journey, which had tap and auto animate and time and some voice, I would need multiple artboards to really get that end-to-end journey. Now with multiple interactions, and if I scroll down here in Steph's UI kit, just a heads up, I've pasted the link to Steph's UI kit on our YouTube channel because people were asking. So it's there to go. Open it up. I'm obsessed. I'm taking it everywhere I go. It's amazing. So multiple interactions, as I mentioned, tap, drag, keys, and voice. You basically don't need these 4 artboards or anything like that. You can do it all in one artboard. So if I come out of here, as you can see on the artboard that Steph created in prototype mode, so always go into prototype mode for your interactions. If I click up here, as you can see, she has 4 coming up from this section. She's got her tap, she's got her auto animate, she's got her keys and gamepad. Everything here is all listed out. She needs to press the A on the keyboard trigger to get going. This is her voice command, Anita's highlights. So easy. So yeah, as you can see, super intuitive to put together. So that's multiple interactions. The second thing I'm going to show you is the multiple interactions, and then, bringing all these incredible micro animations and interactions from like 2 artboards and how simple that is. So if you look at this Echo prototype that I created, on the one screen, I've got my good afternoon, Matthew. I've got my graph. I've got my timer. I've got my journey to Edinburgh just here. Let me zoom in a little bit. just like that. And then on the second one, I've got the fixed, you know, the kind of to-be journey, like what I want the finished state to look like. So this graph goes up, I've got my 3,019 miles and the full loading bar for journey to Edinburgh. So as you can see, there's quite a clear difference. And with that as well, I've got voice. So I've got 1, this graph, 2, a timer, 3, this loading bar, and 4, voice just between 2 artboards. Isn't that phenomenal?
That's very complex.
It's very complex, and I
That's
fancy
very-
myself, don't I, Steph, as a bit of a Pixar wannabe. This is another level. I feel incredible.
And only on 2 artboards.
And only on 2 artboards. Literally, there's nothing else in this file, just these 2 lonesome best pal artboards. So as you can see here, I've got my 4, and when I click on that, I've got my voice and my command and my different interactions. And then here, I've got my speech playback and my voice. All right, so let's test it. I always love showing off voice. It's probably my favorite feature. So if I press play and just say the command in, how many miles will it take me to get to Edinburgh?
It will take you 3,019 miles to get to Edinburgh. Don't forget to pack snacks, young Matthew.
How cool is that?
On 2 artboards.
On 2 artboards.
Incredible.
Super, super easy. And if I wanted to create more, I can just click on this plus, I can choose my trigger and get going. Super, super, super easy. But Steph, don't you think the next feature that we're about to talk about is a game changer in the new Max release?
It totally is. I mean, that helped us to create this file. I mean, why do you think Anita's highlights are there and my highlights are there?
Well, you did all of this file. I just gave my highlights. Like, I was too busy having a grand old time in LA. I just gave my highlights. But yeah, absolutely.
But on a newspaper, that's just normal. Not one person
course.
alone can write a newspaper. There are almost more people working in it together, and that's the whole part of this live stream, isn't it?
And sending files via email or via, you know, other forms, which we're not going to name because we're live on YouTube, can be tiring, or having version 9062.
So all I have to do is I click this button down here, which is enable co-editing beta, and I'm just waiting until this is saved, and then once this is enabled, as we can see here, I can just add Anita to my file and invite her, and let's take a look on her phone.
Let's see on my phone. Oh my God! Popped
You got
up just
the
like that.
invitation. That's brilliant.
Isn't that incredible? Just incredible. And just like that, I can load the CAL document, and rapidly, it's coming up. It's coming up. So, but isn't that so, so easy? So, so easy.
And now, are you in my doc?
Got it. I'm in your doc.
Where are you? Here's Anita.
Let's see.
I can see you here. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Let's go to the co-editing screen, the desktop version.
Yes.
Can you both see both our screens?
Yep.
Okay, I can see Anita is here because she has she's circled in red, and I can see the text box she has selected, and that's circled in red as well. Can you see me? I just selected
Totally.
text box underneath.
Totally.
Can you see me?
And you're there in yellow.
Am I yellow?
You're yellow.
Okay. I'm yellow, you're red.
Okay, so let's show the real magic of this. Can you get me a love button or a like button? I'm easy. Maybe get me both and I can
have a
look.
couple of options. So I love this plugin here. It's called Icons for Design. So I can just search for example, thumbs up. Not finding anything. That's great. So let's search for a heart. It finds a heart.
Can't wait to see.
That's right here. So let's move that down to... That's completely out of space now. Where is our co-editing screen? Where are you, Anita? I'm trying to find you.
Keep scrolling.
Yay, here.
Yes.
Where are you? Here's a heart for you.
I love it. There you go,
You
right
have
on
it?
my screen. And it says above it, Steph and Anita-Mai. Do you see that? So cute. Let me zoom in real well. See? So just above that says Steph and Anita-Mai, just so I know that there's no one else gate crashing our document. Oh, and she's given me
a heartbeat.
a heartbeat. So I have these two right
So
here.
you have two options now.
So I'm actually going to delete the heart and keep the heartbeat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes me heartbroken.
Oh, so cute.
Just kidding.
And I can take this and I can expand it and I can put it right here. And do you know what? I'm going to keep your heartbroken one as well because I love it. Reminds me of my Twilight days. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it up by Connect, just like that.
But enough of the fun part. Now we have to go back to business, right? Let's go back into our...
I'm sorry, isn't that so cool? And it's so quick. I literally don't have to wait for you to make changes, write me an email saying, here's my 2 updates.
It's just
so
right
powerful.
there. It's just right there.
So powerful.
And in here, we have our highlight screens, right?
Yes.
So let's maybe
go into
add
our
another
other.
highlight. Have you had any more highlights than the one
Do
that
you know
you were
what?
describing?
One of my favorite highlights was getting ramen with you. We love
mine
ramen.
too. Yeah, we love ramen.
And
So
we
let's
love
type
chatting,
that here.
So let's type that.
I love ramen.
So just here, I'm
Full
going to
stop.
copy.
I love to eat ramen.
Love
More with
sassy
Anita
ramen
together
vibes. And just like
at
that, it's 2 in 1.
Adobe MAX in LA.
And I can even see Steph's, what she's writing. It's so
What did you write? We're just talking over each
I
other.
just put, I love sassy ramen vibes. I'm always hungry. It's something I really love. Super, super easy.
Amazing, yeah. So that's how we got to the result of this newspaper, right? So that's how we both put in our highlights and how people can co-edit together in one newspaper. So Anita is still here, I'm still there,
Yep.
but Anita is going to explain more about some third-party extensions that also help us to work faster, right?
I mean, the plugins update at Max was also incredible. So what I really like about plugins in XD is you don't have to leave XD to make updates. I feel like that is a huge, huge advantage. And you have the option to create your own private plugins for your team, or if you want to create a public plugin, you can as well. And that goes through a security review process with the XD team. All right, so if I go, I'm going too quick. If I go into my plugins panel down here, this little key box, shall I move out the way? Wait, let me move out the way. Do you see that here? So I click on plugins, just like that, and it comes up, the plugins. So I've got all my plugins here. I'm a huge plugin enthusiast, so I've got loads. I click plus, and I can discover. So I can look at more plugins that have been recommended to me, essential plugins. I can connect to my favorite apps. Oh my God, I love the Slack plugin in an XD. Trello as well. I love Trello in Microsoft Teams, Jira. I can also look at different categories, plugins for collaboration, tools and automation, usability and testing, and so forth. Really, really sassy. So really can keep up to date. I don't have to go to Google and search for anything. It's all in XD. So if I click browse, I can go through different categories, just like that. And I can also type in keywords. If I wanted something around accessibility, because me and you are both really big on accessibility, already I've got the Stark plugin all good to go. And if I click on that plugin and scroll down, I can rate it. I've already given it a 5-star rating, as you can see, but I can still change it, but I'm not going to. So let me go to another plugin that I absolutely love, and I'm going to show you guys in a sec. For all those management consultants, the FSIs of this world, or people who make infographics, the VisiChart plugin is absolutely awesome. So even by clicking on it, I get this overview, I can see what's new, I can see different screens, and I can leave my rating. So just like that, I'm going to give it a 5-star. And it submits it 5-star, just like that. Super, super easy. So if I go back here and I go to manage, the final tab in the new plugins panel, I can update. As I mentioned, it updates all inside. And there we go. Super, super easy, all in one. And I'm going to show you now my favorite plugin, which is VisiCharts. I've actually got quite a few favorites, and I've actually got 2 I can show you. And then I want to see your favorite as well. So I'm going to do a ring chart. This takes me back to my heyday. So just like that, I've drawn my circle, and then I'm going to go down to VisiCharts. I can just scroll down here, click VisiCharts, click ring, put in the data. I can change that as well if I want to. choose the size and style, and then put the label. I'm going to call it XD, just like that. Click create. There we go. 60% XD. Super, super easy. And then once it's on the artboard, it's just like a static like image. So I can go and add in the colors from my assets panel. I can change the character styles to this. I can animate this. I can do whatever I want. But that is a pretty quick way to create a ring chart. Hey, it's much quicker than me having to go in and, you know, do everything on my own. The other plugin, which I'm a huge fan of, which also requires you to draw, there we go, see I've made these all separate to animate.
And I can see it all in live time, how it disappears.
Oh.
I can see in real time what you're doing.
Keep tabs on me. So my second favorite
I'm
plugin,
watching you.
which I think is quite comical, is an AI-generated plugin called This Person Does Not Exist. So just here, I click on that, goes into my circle. So apparently this person doesn't exist. And again, you can have multiple ones of these. This is quite good if you're working with customers and you're worried about security and, you know, copyright infringements and all of that. Oops, sorry. So this person does not exist, just here. Let's see who else this is. Oh, there we go. What are your favorite plugins? Come on.
Yeah, obviously I've been talking about accessibility a lot, and that's obviously very important topic for me, and also important for me to take it out there so people out there can learn from it and understand it. So for example, I really like the Stark plugin that you gave already 5 stars.
Absolutely.
But I just want to show what it actually does. So let's just run the colorblind simulation. So if you don't know how colorblind people perceive your design, you can just like scale this one up. Maybe let's do it to 150%, and it has like a couple of different color blindness conditions, and you can see how it changes. And it's not like essential that the color changes, but are they still able to read everything? And yes, they are. And the same one here, this condition, for example. So this makes it a bit more grayer. So these people, they won't be able to see the pink, but they will still be able to read everything. So make sure that you're not mixing colors on top of each other, that the font is still clearly readable. So I love Stark, and I think it's very important that people are aware of this plugin. And another one, if you want to spread the news even further outside of English-speaking countries, there is obviously the World Ready plugin. So I can just select an artboard and translate it to any language that I don't really know. For example, Turkish, Japanese, all these languages here. And you can just hit translate, and it generates these artboards for you in that language. So you can see here, now I have a whole Japanese artboard. How cool does that look?
So
cool. If guys in Japan want to know about the new XD updates, just use World Ready and translate all my artboards in my UI kit that you can download and just read all through it. I hope that helps, but how you can share it further is the actual redesigned share mode. So that's what I'm...
Another game changer.
Another game changer that I'm diving into right now. So we can see here in this screen that I designed that this one, like, you have different options. So when I go into share, the share is now on the top left side, so it's the third option from the left. It used to be here over on the right hand side, but now it's on the left hand side, so it's integrated because XD is a design, prototyping and sharing tool. And over here you have the different options now for create a link for design review, create a link for development, create a link for presentation that would open your presentation in full screen mode, user testing that gives hints for the users, for example, when you have a voice prototype, or custom where you can still tick the boxes that you would like to do. Up here you have the option to go to manage links, so you see all the links that you have generated of all times, or you can create from the same document, you can create an entirely new link. So if you want to keep things separate and just export a couple of artboards, that's what you need to do. As you can see, I have created this link up here already. I can always update this link if I have made a change and stuff. But let's go into the browser where I have this page already open. So this is the share for review link, and in here I can type a comment, for example, change color, and I can hit submit. I can also place a pin, for example, for this pink. I can also edit it, or I can delete my comment again, or I can even fancier dive into development. So development, that helps a lot, because I, as a designer, I don't have to create design guidelines anymore, because they're all there.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, thank God for that. I just absolutely love it. And you can see in this in this UI kit, I have converted all these icons already to downloadable assets. And the way you do it is when you go in here, and let's say I want, in design mode, I select this icon over here, the voice button. All you have to do is just to click that mark for export sign up here in your layers panel. And when you have marked that for export and you update the link, that is how it will come out. So all of these are marked for export, and when you select one, so let's say the developer wants this voice button, they don't need to ask you anymore, can you please send me an asset? They can just download it from here in SVG, PNG, or PDF, and just hit download. Even more, they can just copy the colors from here. Here are all the fonts, so they know all the font styles from that page. Then when I click into it, they can even get CSS snippets right out from here, from that page. And then when I go out and I scroll down, you can even see what Anita just described, all the multiple interactions from that entire screen. So when you scroll down, these are all the interactions that go out from that single one screen. And they're all described down here. And when you hover above them, it even highlights, you can see here, this one just highlighted it on the canvas, which one has this trigger. So it's really easy to use, really easy to understand. Yeah. I hope you like the new share the new share methodology. Let me know what you're going to do with it and which one is your favorite. Yeah, just pop it in the chat. I would love to hear what you think about it. But yeah, Anita has some more in her pocket, right? Oh God.
I think also what's really good about share is that if you're working with a developer team, let's take the example you gave, Share for Dev. You can just give them the link. You can, do a few other things, like have a call with them. But they have everything there. They don't need that design spec. Like you don't have to go in and manually create anything. It's so easy. So another big feature, speaking of easy and intuitive, is the CC Libraries integration. So if I go into my assets panel just here, click on it, as you can see up here, there's actually a brand new icon just here, and that's the CC library. So if I click on that, I can access all my CC libraries. So I've got some from like a Parrots and Jungle app that I was creating with some colleagues, and I've actually created a CC libraries based off Steph's newspaper. So as you can see, I've got my colors, my gradients, my character styles, super easy. And if I wanted to go in and add more, so let's say I click on this like Adobe logo just here. I click on the plus icon down here. Let me really zoom in so you can see, just like that. It recognizes already its component. How incredible is XD? And it adds it. The XD logo has been added. So super easy again to pick and drag. I can go into an After Effects file, an Illustrator file, a Photoshop file, and bring these colors and character styles and components and images in, just like that. If I wanted to bring more stuff in, so let's say I decide I want to bring in all of my highlights, I can just click on this artboard. Again, click this plus icon, and it recognizes it can be a fill color I can add, so just like that. It's added more fill colors and also a graphic. So super easy and, really super intuitive to build up from as well. So there's my color, and just down here, it's my graphic, just like that. It's added both me and Stephanie from our two respective artboards. Okay, so now I'm happy with my CC library and I want to share it with someone. So I can click on these three dots here, just on the top right-hand side. I can collaborate, share link, view on website, view deleted items, everything that I want. I'm going to click on share link and it's going to take me directly to the CC Libraries portal. So all of my Creative Cloud, just like that. I have the opportunity to copy my link, allow save to Creative Cloud, allow people to follow me, so I can copy that and share it. Or what I can do is, let me just close that. I have all my CC library stuff here. So I have my graphics, my gradients, and I can share it. So if I click the share button up here and invite to edit, let me invite Stephanie. Stephanie, yeah, there she is, and put a message, hey, just like that, and click invite. I can give her access as well. So I've given her view access, but I can also give her edit access because she's my close mate. So I'm going to give her edit access just like that.
Much appreciate that.
And then just like that, Stephanie can receive that alert. And you can get cracking with your CC library, whether you're in XD, Photoshop, any of the CC tools. So really, really powerful, hey, because this hasn't been possible before. You haven't been able to push XD assets into Creative Cloud Library. So this is pretty awesome.
Before you continue, Anita, we have a question here.
Oh my God.
Josh is asking if there is still the grid for development view. So if we quickly switch to my screen, yes, there is. We can still click up here. On the top right, we can see the overview grid of everything that's in there. And we can scroll down and we can see when we click on one of the screens down here, we can see to what other screens this one is connected. We can also change from this grid view to the flow view. And in the flow, we can see which screen is connected through what wire. So I hope that answers your question. If you have any more, just drop them in the chat. But now getting back to Anita with one more new update, right?
Oh my God, one of the biggest.
Yeah.
So with all that co-editing, oh my God. I don't know about you, but I put my tunes on, I have a snack, and I kind of get lost sometimes when I work. I'm a huge daydreamer. So for me, I need to know the timeline of what's been done, when it was saved, and all of that. So now in XD, if I click at the top, so just like here, I can look at all my previous versions, and this is document history. And I have the option to click on these three. I can open a new window, I can name this version, and actually all these files expire, like all these versions, expire after 30 days. But if I want to keep it for the rest of my life, I can just click on this bookmark, I can name it master, or I can name it design system, whatever, when I decided to make it a design system, and keep that. And then there goes that name. So once me and Steph go on our Christmas holiday, Steph's actually off to South Africa, which I am beyond jealous about. We can come back. Oh, we need, don't we? It's freezing. We can, come back and see where we left off, who did what, and get cracking. So document history is vital to really keep up that core collaboration when you're doing all your incredible design and creative assets in Adobe XD.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I started this document for you back in October, and I shared it with Anita, and then we were back from Max, and I was like, I shared it with you like in October. She was like, oh, really? Yeah. And you could see the entire history that I've been working on, and that's why she knows.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Josh has come back.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh Trumper. Oh, sorry, not the overview grid. He wants to see the actual 12-column grid on designs and turn it on and off.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
so
that's still there.
That's still there. So all you have to do is just, we can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All you have to do is you just select the artboard, and down here is the layout grid. So we just switch it on. You have the opportunity to customize it. As you can see, my stuff is all in the grid because I'm also working with it. But not only with the grid, like when I tick that off, you can see that I have created all these guidelines, all these guides here. And you get them by just when you hover above the site and you drag them out. This is how you get the guides. Or up here as well. Oh, no, now it doesn't like guides. Okay, so let's close it and reopen it. Do you have it open so we can check the guides on yours in the meantime?
I actually don't.
Okay, so let's open mine again. It doesn't like guides in co-editing, as we have just figured out. Okay, let's reopen that again. But yeah, I hope, Josh, that answers your question. So all you have to do is you just click on the name of the artboard and you tick the box again on the side where it says layout grid, and that will show you the grid, and you can also customize it. And if you want the guides, now we're back. If you want the guides, you just drag them out from the side. So if you have any more questions, drop them in the chat. We have a couple of more minutes left, so I'm just going over that document a bit more in detail. Also, if you have any questions about the document, please ask them. So down here, you might have wondered what this animation is all about. So I was basically just sitting at the airport waiting for my plane, being bored. So
I get so bored. Yeah.
I get so bored at
I eat
airports.
all these snacks. I buy them to eat on the plane, then I eat them while I'm waiting to board. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
didn't eat a snack. I just used auto animate. Maybe that's a better option.
That's a better low calorie option. Yeah.
That's a low calorie option. Just use auto animate whilst you're waiting for a plane. And I have implemented that as well in this desktop design. So when I play this desktop design right here, you can see not only that I can swap in between from XD updates to my highlights and Anita's highlights, and these are all obviously auto animate triggers, but it has like four triggers. I can also just press H on my keyboard, which is the keyboard trigger, and it goes back to the home. I can press S for Steph, and it goes to Steph's highlights, but let's stick to XD updates. And when I click on this Max logo or on the XD logo, then this is what's going to happen. So this is my Max animation. And this Max animation is simply done with Illustrator. So I just drew that. Oh, and it goes back to that page. So when I go out of this and I zoom into here, you can see when I click in here, this is all. These are all the lines that I drew in Illustrator. So XD is still compatible with Illustrator. You can copy and paste things across. I drew this Max logo. I just traced it in Illustrator, and then I just opened the path right here. And all the others, as you can see, they are outside of the artboard, and I just let them in prototype mode. You can see the artboards are just connected through a time transition with auto animate and a snap interaction, and that's how it slowly draws from these lines. They move into these Max letters, basically. And that's just a playful overview that I put on top of this one. Now another one is the dark mode that we haven't shown yet. So when I go back into this one, you can see all the wires. So let's go back in design mode, and I scroll down, you see everything is white, and here again we see the hover trigger. So when I hover above it, you can go to the sub page of that specific new feature. When we scroll further down, we have all the settings here on one page as well. So these are all component states. This one you know already, and this one is the switch to dark mode. So I just switched to dark mode, and this is my dark mode. So if you prefer dark mode, if you want to save battery and stuff, that helps. And you can just click into it, and we have again co-editing right here. Anita is still in my document. If I like that, I also have the share button here. The share button has email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that sort of stuff. And I also want to highlight in that file up here on the top left is my master component sheet. So that's where I created them all. So this one you can see by this diamond shape with a solid green color that this is my master component, and you can see this is the default state and this is the share state. So all of them pop up. And when I go back into prototype mode, I can see that there's just a tap interaction with auto animate back into the default state and the snap. So these are just the two states, the same as down here. So this is just a state into the thumb active. So these are all my master components, and you recognize them by this by this diamond shape. So these are all my masters. And when I scroll over to any of the artboards, I can see that this one is an instance. And why? Because it still has a green frame, but it has a clear diamond shape. So that means it's an instance. So I can do with the instance what I want. And a good example is this one up here. So when I go back into this text field. So you can see this is my actual master component, and when I have the state, the click to resize, it has the minus, so the decrease and increase font size. It has both together. So on this screen right here, or let's go to the XD overview screen actually. You can see when I go in here and I go into click to resize, all I did in my layers panel was there's still the smaller button is right behind the text size button. So when I hide that, so let's hide the text size button, you can see that the smaller button is just hiding. So I have just moved them a little bit down because on that screen you don't have the option to make the text even smaller than it is already. So I just wanted to give the option to just make it bigger but not smaller. Whereas, and this is my click state, so I go back to the default state. And on this one, when I go to the click state, you can either make it smaller and it goes back to this screen, or make it bigger. And the way it works is you just drag a wire from that specific one, as you can see, back to that artboard where the text size is smaller, and when you click on the plus, then it gets bigger because the wire is moved over here to this one. And we can, and now when I go back into default state, we can see I did the same over here with this one. So when I go into the hover state, there's only the option to make the text smaller because you can't make it bigger than this one. What do you think of this? So these are instances, like the instances so you can really, even though you have the master one and you have an instance of the master one, but the instance of the master one, you can play around with it without changing the actual master, which is really helpful.
I think one of the best things, and I'm not sure if you would agree, so me and you are obviously both designers, both SaaS queens, but in terms, like I used to feel as a UX designer, you know, sticking in my wireframes, almost sticking in my lane, I almost didn't have the understanding how to go from a low fidelity design to a high fidelity or visual design, hey? And I really think that all these features really kind of make it more open for everyone to use XD, whether you're doing your wireframes or doing your high fidelity designs. And I think that these features make it increasingly accessible, really, hey, for all types of designers to create any type of interactive asset in XD.
Yeah, and we can see here, now I'm in prototype mode, you can see that almost all of my wires have a minimum of 2 interactions because I made this entire news app. You can either tap on it or it has a voice command. So you can see this wire, for example, has a voice command that, so you say show component states and it goes to the page component states that explains them all. So I really made it accessible for, tried my best to make it accessible for everyone so everybody can listen to the features. So there are 2, but like my maximum I would say are really down here in the menu where I have 4. So in this menu, when you see this wire, there are 4. So I can either from this home screen, I can tap and it goes to my highlights, or I can go, I can drag it, or I can hit S for, on the keys for Steph, or I can go to voice and the command is just Steph's highlights. And obviously you can, like this page entirely, you can see it has always, you can either tap or you can ask via voice command what's new with component states, and then it would just give you the option. So would you like to listen to an Alexa again? Yeah. Which one would you like to know more about?
Share mode.
Share mode.
Get feedback, present your work, share with developers and more. The new share mode lets you keep shared links to your designs in sync, see which artboards and user flows are shared, and configure settings like password requirements.
So that was one Alexa. If you're tired of my voice, of Anita's voice, and this Alexa voice, there's also this amazing feature where you can just change from Joanna to, who shall we take?
Ivy.
Ivy? Okay. So Ivy is now in hover trigger. So let's play hover trigger. Ivy.
Bring new levels of interactivity to your prototypes.
No, that's
Use
the
the
same.
new hover trigger in prototype mode to specify interactions for...
Ivy sounds the same. That's weird. Okay, so Ivy is the twin of Alexa. So voice. So let's try this one again.
Bring new levels of interactivity
Wow,
to
that
your
is definitely
prototypes.
Ivy.
Use the new hover trigger in
Dogs are
prototype
barking.
mode to specify interactions for when the user places a cursor over a particular design element.
Is it Ivy or is it Mickey Mouse? I'm not sure. I think I want
Poor old
I want
Ivy.
Joanna back. I don't know how you see it. Which one is your favorite voice? Like, drop us in the chat which one you like most. I mean, we have so many. We have Joanna, Joey, Justin, Matthew. I think Matthew sounds so sophisticated.
Oh, so
like.
I bet Matthew's really good looking.
Yeah, so there are many options. If you're tired of the Alexa voice, just swap it. It's all possible in my UI kit right here. If you have just turned on recently, you can find my UI kit on my Behance. It's behance.net/Stephanie4XD, and it's just right here, and you can click in it and scroll down, and you can see this is the overview about the digital newspaper, XD updates. I have rendered that into some of these phones. We went through component states, multiple interactions was Anita's part with a very good example. Then we have co-editing that we are still doing together. Like Anita is still in my document, and we are here together, so I can quickly show that. Here's Anita in my doc. Then we have document history that Anita explained, which is very helpful. Then we have hover trigger, which is obviously on the desktop version. So when you hover above all these next buttons, you can see that they're changing the state. We also have these examples for the hover trigger, like the shopping cart or like a blur out and stuff. Then the redesign plugin manager that Anita went through, and the CC libraries that Anita created, very amazing. And here again, here's the color scheme and the character styles. Then my highlights and the wireframes. And if you just switched on recently, you can replay the live stream right here. This is a GIF made from my XD, from my Max animation in XD with Auto Animate. And down here is the link to download this template for the digital newspaper. So yeah, if you also want to record it, all you have to do is you just need to click that start button here and hit play, and then it just plays that interaction. And if you don't want it to go to the home screen after the last screen, which it's going to do because that's how I wired it, all you have to do is just remove this last wire and unwire it, and then you will only have the animation. So yeah, I think that's, I mean, leave me feedback. I would like to know what you're going to do with it.
And we've posted our Twitter handles in the YouTube channel.
Yeah, okay. That sounds great. So yeah, if you do have any questions, get in touch. I'm Stephanie4XD.
I'm Dictaphone_girl.
And yeah, thank you all very much for joining us today with the Adobe XD updates back from Max, and hopefully see you next year to some more live streams. But yeah, have a good break,
Thanks
have
so
a good
much,
holiday,
guys.
have
Happy
a nice
holidays.
Christmas, yeah, have a happy New Year, and thank you very much for
Thanks,
tuning in.
guys.
Thank you.
Have
Bye.
a lovely weekend. Bye.